Shadow Blossom going to invest to protect you, blocking up the incoming foul play. We heavily overfarm and going for the Leaf Blade bait. The threat of a Dazzling Gleam might draw the Protect Shield, and it does, but Blossom so incredibly spammy. We're already at the Dazzling Gleam. Does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have once again got the pleasure of showcasing my secret weapon for Season 22. That is Shadow Blossom. Blossom, one of the very hardest counters for ground types, and also an absolute spam monster that has them water types, stuff like Lapras, stuff like Blastoise, Feraligatr, all running scared. Today's featured battler is pairing it up with a Morpeko. Morpeko, much like Blossom, far too quick, far too spammy, and hits far too hard. These two form an incredible core. All we need is a safe switch. There is no better safe switch at baiting out a ground type than Shadow Drapion. So the idea of the team, much like my Typhlosion team, is utilise Shadow Drapion, look to bait out that ground type, send back out Blossom, clear the ground type out of the way, and allow Morpeko to do what it does best, sweeping back lines. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, place your wagers not off to the best start. Blossom sees one of the worst possible leads. Fortress being a bug and steel type, a double resist our grass type damage. We say switch into Drapion, out comes Quagsire. So on paper, hard loss lead, hard punish on the safe switch. But unless this is a mud bomb, which it isn't, Drapion going to withstand the damage, and we should be flipping switch or forcing ourselves a cheeky shield advantage here in the mid game matchup. Things are going very much according to plan for Place Your Wagers. The opponent might think they're sitting in their driver's seat, but this is exactly how the team's intended to work. We've baited out the ground type, so now Morpeko doesn't have to see it, and Blossom can just come in, absorb this energy, and commit to the full Bullet Seed farm down. We now send out Morpeko with that 2-to-1 shield advantage. The opponent sends back out Fortress, then pivot into Cradilly. With the ground type out the way, Morpeko looking primed to sweep. We fire off the Aura Wheel, which is resisted, but still does a very solid chunk. Morpeko is an insanely glassy Pokemon, but thankfully the opponent has so very little fast move pressure into us. We're going to shield up the Rock Tomb, fire off one Thundershock and the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel rocks Cradilly into the red health range, and Morpeko going to be able to Thundershock farm down. We now find ourselves in the 1-to-1 shield. Fortress re-enters the arena, going to be looking to debuff us with the Rock Tomb. Place your wagers, invest that Protect Shield again. Good fast move timing, one Thundershock and the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. Morpeko should be able to outpace to the next Aura Wheel. We actually go for the catch. Is it necessary? Not really, but it's great for content and entertainment. The opponent takes out Blossom. We re-enter the arena, fire off the Aura Wheel, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. I think today we are going to be in for a treat heading into the next battle. We see the annoying Marshmallow Wigglytuff. One of the main reasons that I love Blossom, it is so quick and so spammy, taking only 9 turns to these Leaf Blades, and Leaf Blade is one of the very best charge moves in the game. We obtain ourselves an early shield advantage and say switch into Drapion. I was very much expecting to see a Mud Slapper come out, as Wigglytuff often paired with a ground type, but this opponent seems more than content to stay in. So Place Your Wagers like, okay buddy, if you want that work, I'm going to give it to you. Drapion fires off the next Aqua Tail, removing the annoying Marshmallow from the field of play, and out comes Ferret. Ferret this season did get access to Sucker Punch, but unfortunately Sucker Punch is going to be resisted by Morpeko, as Dark does resist itself. We shield up the Swift, overfarm, fire off the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel just claps everything insanely hard. Aura Wheel rocks them very, very deep into the red. Unfortunately, unable to farm down before the next Swift's reached. We're going to see Place Your Wagers, invest that Protect Shield. The opponent actually running a double Sucker Punch team. But unfortunately for this opponent, it's not looking good for them. Dark-type Aura Wheel forces the final Protect Shield. We pivot into Blossom. Able to outpace the Dazzling Gleam. Dazzling Gleam is super effective. Nearly picks up that one-hit kill. We Bullet Seed farm down, and the opponent concedes the match. Heading into the next battle. Oh, hello Lapras. Nice to see you nice. The opponent say switch into Sableye. It looks like we're going to tank a charge move, or at least farm up some energy. Place Your Wagers, going to invest the Protect Shield, blocking up the foul play. We see the Leaf Blade bank and the pivot into Morpeko. Morpeko wastes no time, goes straight for the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel, of course, picks up the knockout. Shadow Sableye stood no chance. The opponent sends out Cradilly. We attempt to throw on CMP. The opponent recognising that it's not a charge attack priority, they will be winning. Smartly take the extra Bullet Seed. Dark-type Aura Wheel forces our shield back. The opponent going to overfarm, fire off the Rock Tomb, looking to move us from the field of play. Rock Tomb does exactly that. Blossom re-enters the arena, fires off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade going to hit for neutral, and Shadow Crime. Orf is going to do a lot. Despite the opponent overfarming, Blossom able to win the charge attack priority, reaching the next Leaf Blade on the CMP time. The opponent now finds himself all shields down. Rock Tomb isn't lethal. We pivot out into Drapion, and Drapion upper Protect Shield can have no problem cleaning up. 2 crunches, more or less knockout with the Poison Sting, especially after getting the defense drop. No one move will knock us out. This is the hardest move left in the game, of course. We're going to shield this move up. The opponent recognises the game's over and once again going to concede the match. GG's. Heading into the next battle, this is a very tough lead. Not only a tough lead for Bellossom, Morpeko also going to take super effective from them Fairy Winds. We say switch into Drapion, fire off the Aqua Tail. The opponent doesn't farm up to an overheat, so whatever they throw shouldn't do too much damage. The opponent fire off the Sludge, which is resisted. The opponent then attempts to catch an Aqua Tail onto Goodra. Placeyourwagers shows great composure, holds his energy, and Goodra gets slapped with a crunch to the face. We're going to fire off the Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is survival, but hopefully we pull a shield here. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. However, this might not be the worst spot to be in. Goodra in a nice farm down range for our Bellossom. We're going to get a huge Bullet Seed farm down and actually leave with double Leaf Blade. Despite Leaf Blade being double resist against that Galarian Weezing, I think 2 will certainly knock out. We're going to bank our energy, pivot into Morpeko. The opponent goes to the classic U-switch, I-switch, send out Lapras, straight in and straight out. Get that Lapras off my screen. The opponent has 2 shields and it looks like they're going to save them for next season as we take that game. Heading into the next battle, we see Bellossom into Morpeko. This is such a great lead for us. Leaf Blade that we pace to after only 9 turns, does almost all their HP. The opponent instantly put up that Protect Shield. Bellossom, reasonably bulky, a resisted Aura Wheel, going to do a lot, but very easily survivable, and never really in danger of getting Thundershock farm down either. The opponent try and catch a Leaf Blade onto Superior. We're going to throw the Dazzling Gleam and then send out Drapion. When I saw the opponent counter switch Superior, I was thinking perhaps holding the energy would be the better play, but now I've seen this play out, I think throwing that for some chip damage and then sending out Drapion was a very smart play, as we're able to Poison Sting him into a range where an Aqua Tail will be lethal and we leave with so much residual energy. Morpeko does return. We've got the Aqua Tail locked and loaded. Morpeko is so bloody glassy. Aqua Tail looks like it's a super effective charge move. Holy moly, Morpeko buddy, where is your bolt? Aura Wheel picks up the knockout. We're going to send out our own Morpeko with a 2-to-1 shield advantage. We're going to be looking for that 1 shield resisted Thundershock farm down. The opponent go for the Psychic Fangs bait. Is that bait going to save their fate? With Talonflame entering the arena, the answer to that question is no. Aura Wheel sneaks through the protection. The opponent looks to call the bait. Hashtag no baits on this channel, and we take that game. Placeyourwagers going to start today's video with the perfect 5-0. Heading into the next battle, we see Bellossom into Dragonite. We're going to say switch into Drapion. Drapion farms the crunch baits with the Aqua Tail. I don't often bait, but I think Dragonite probably respects the damage, and they do exactly that. The opponent heavily overfarm, CMP tying us to the crunch, but the issue with this play is Placeyourwagers can invest the Protect Shield and force the opponent to make a decision. If they want to keep Dragonite around, they're going to be forced to go down both Protect Shields. The opponent go all in on Dragonite and commit to that Dragon Breath farm down. Are they now in Leaf Blade range? Dragonite is insanely glassy, but Leaf Blade is double resisted. I think if this Leaf Blade knocks out, we're home and dry. I think it's going to be Alolan Sandslash and Gelatin in the back. Crescent Angels team, the first Legend team of Season 22. Oh man. We attempt to snipe with Morpeko. We're forced to burn the final Protect Shield. There's the Alolan Sandslash, but the issue is, as they're not the Shadow Alolan Sandslash, this Aura Wheel won't quite be lethal. Sandslash just about survives. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see their Jellicent. I'm 99.9% sure in the back. We actually get one shot, drill run, massive overkill. We get Powder Snow farm down and take our first loss. GG's to that opponent. Placeyourwagers looking to bounce back, and we find a very problematic lead. We're going to say switch into Drapion. Mandibuzz can stay in this matchup. Air/Mandibuzz does beat the non-Sludge Bomb variant of Drapion in all even shielding scenarios. Ideally, what we'd like to see happen is the opponent eventually pivot out into a ground type that we get to Bullet Seed farm down, and then later on a Dazzling Gleam this bird to the face. The opponent actually enter the mirror. So clearly they didn't have a great answer for Drapion, and they do opt to mirror at a stage where switch advantage will certainly be maintained. This Drapion's actually in a super awkward health range for us. If Bellossom wants to remove it from the field of play, we're going to have to land a Dazzling Gleam. And if we send out Morpeko, we're going to get outpaced by one quick move to that Aqua Tail, but stay in school, kids, and learn to count. We actually catch the Aqua Tail onto Bellossom, where it is going to be resisted damage. Bellossom going to go straight for the Leaf Blade. Is this Leaf Blade range? Leaf Blade hits hard, but is resisted. Oof, the opponent actually makes a very nice catch, catching it onto Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz actually doesn't overfarm, opts to fire off the aerial ace. They do go for an undercharge. I think we intentionally didn't throw the charge move there, as Place Your Wagers just wants to get all the energy in the world. Everything Mandibuzz throws is going to be resisted, but the foul play gets us below half health, and we really need the opponent not to have fast move pressure in the back. The opponent thinking about it, opt to send out Drapion. We go straight for the Aura Wheel, looking to move Drapion from the field of play. Aura Wheel picks up the knockout. What is that third? Out comes Sandslash. Again, we're full sending. Thankfully, they're on Shadow Claw, which is resisted. The opponent shields the first. Morpeko rapidly running out of HP. We look to farm up to the double. Do we survive that Shadow Claw? In Morpeko, I believe. Aura Wheel forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We're able to withstand the Shadow Claw, reaching one further Aura Wheel, and Morpeko pulls off a very impressive sweep. GG's, and thanks for playing. Seriously, when Shadow Morpeko is released, people are going to be in trouble. That thing is going to be booming Pokemon left, right, and centre. In the next battle, we see another Core Breaker, Jumpluff, good into Blossom, and good into Morpeko too. We pivot into Drapion. The opponent opt to mirror, but they are behind by a turn. We fire off back-to-back Aqua Tails, rocking them deep into the red health range. We see the instant no shield deployed as the opponent return fire with their own Aqua Tail. They are doubled up. It looks like we're going to go for the one shield, Poison Sting farm down, and have the option to realign. We do get that Poison Sting farm down, but leave down a Protect Shield. Thankfully, Jumpluff re-enters the arena, and Drapion going to get so much value here. The first crunch goes unshielded. We get the defense drop. The opponent is going to fire off the aerial ace, looking to remove us from the field of play. Down goes Drapion. We send out Morpeko. Not too many people now have Energy Ball, so potentially a full flying move set. We go straight for the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. This is tough. Even an Acrobatics that is resisted is going to do a lot. Ouch. To be honest, even more than I was expecting, we now find ourselves in the red health range. We fire off the Psychic Fangs, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Rather than concede a farm down, we send out Blossom. Blossom instantly going to put up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming aerial ace. Leaf Blade is double resisted. I don't even know if that's Leaf Blade range. The opponent going to fire off one further aerial ace, rocking us into the red health range. Out comes Glisserpod. Two Leaf Blades do knock out here. The first one rocks the opponent below half health. We look to throw out good timing, one Bullet Seed and the next Leaf Blade, but unfortunately that allows the opponent to reach the X Scissor. Morpeko going to get resisted. Shadow Claw farm down, and unfortunately that is going to be a heartbreaking defeat. But GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we see the ground type in the lead position. Very nice for us. Leaf Blade going to do a lot. Despite Diggersby being a Pokemon called Thickersby, look how much damage that does. But likewise, the opponent is going to hit hard with a Fire Punch. However, we're always going to be able to outpace it, as we take 9 turns to these Leaf Blades, whereas the opponent takes 10 to these Fire Punches. We actually look to throw out good timing, allowing the opponent to outpace us. We farm up to the double here, and at this point I think the opponent's always going to let it go. Leaf Blade picks up the knockout. We instantly pivot out into Drapion, and out comes Glisserpod. We see the instant no shield deployed. Place Your Wagers, already down one Protect Shield, knows he has to tank this charge move. Aqua Jet does a very solid amount, about 60%. We return fire with the crunch. Crunch goes unshielded. We look to fire off the Aqua Tail, but unfortunately do lose CMP. Aqua Jet picks up the knockout. We send out Morpeko, and the opponent enters the mirror. Place Your Wagers, going to full send the Aura Wheel, looking to finally strip a shield off the opponent. No, the opponent doesn't shield. Are we going to see another opponent go for that reverse 2 shield flex? I think the answer to that is yes. Place Your Wagers, going to invest to Protect Shield, blocking up the Aura Wheel. Morpeko rapidly running out of HP. We recognise we're unable to Thundershock farm down. Look to catch back onto Blossom. Aura Wheel picks up the knockout. Morpeko going to Thundershock farm down the opposing Morpeko. Thundershock farm down Glisserpod, and that indeed is a reverse 2 shield flex. But GG's to that opponent regardless. Heading into the next battle, we see another Shadow Dragonite in the lead. I'm already calling this is probably Crescent Angels team. We're looking to make an adjustment, staying with Blossom. The opponent fire off the Dragon Claw, which is just about survivable, and we're full sending the Gleam. Does the opponent respect the damage? Okay, at least we've got a shield advantage. We're going to send out Drapion. Drapion going to put up that Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Dragon Claw. The opponent then pivot out into Sandslash, which tells us it's certainly going to be Jellicent in the back, and this definitely looks more playable than the first time we saw this team. Place Your Wagers, going to be able to reach the Aqua Tail on the CMP type. Aqua Tail goes unshielded, and in Morpeko we believe. Ice Punch picks up the knockout. Morpeko going to come in, get a 2 Thundershock running start. The opponent sends back out Dragonite. We're going straight for the Aura Wheel. Aura will be knocking out or forcing the final Protect Shield. The opponent clearly petrified on Morpeko, put up that Protect Shield. Looks like the opponent's committing to fast moves. We reach the Psychic Fangs. Is Psychic Fangs enough to knock out? Oh no! Some catch from the opponent, of course. Today's battles are played above veteran rank, which is very respectable at this point of the season, and these players are no potatoes. Unfortunately, that team once again provides a huge problem for us. Speaking of problems, Alolan Sandslash on any moveset, especially Powder Snow, is a huge problem for Bellossom. However, the opponent counter-switching a Gator into our Drapion is more than fine. The opponent fire off the Hydro Cannon simply does not get the job done. As we got the defense shot, this Aqua Tail should be lethal or force a shield. The opponent invests that Protect Shield. The opponent going to be unable to farm down. They recognise that and throw the next charge move on the CMP tie. This once again sets up Morpeko with a 2-to-1 shield advantage and even a Thunder Shock run-in start. The opponent like, no thank you, and they concede the match. Heading into the next battle, let's run it back. Poor old Bellossom not finding its targets. Once again we say switch into Drapion. The opponent just fire off an Ice Punch. They need one more for the drill run. The opponent throw the Ice Punch and then send out azumeril. Unfortunately, with no Sludge Bomb, this is pretty miserable for Drapion. Drapion gonna fire off the Crunch. One further Poison Sting and the next Crunch, and this annoying blue bunny is going to continue to shrug off this damage. Azumarill is going to get a massive bubble farm down and get the Ice Beam ready for our return in Bellossom. We fire off the Aqua Tail. Hopefully we can Bullet Seed farm down before the second Ice Beam's reached. The opponent going to fire off the first one, doing some very solid damage. Place Your Wagers recognises we're going to be unable to Bullet Seed farm down, so opts to fire off the Leaf Blade on the CMP tie. Leaf Blade picks up the knockout. We send out Morpeko. The opponent sends out Ferret. Okay, let's go Morpeko. The opponent tanks the Aura Wheel. I think at this point we just one shield. Look to Thunder Shock farm down. Oh crap, we pull up another wrap. What is going on? The opponent going to fire off the Trailblaze. Why would you not double Swift there? I guess the opponent was thinking they wouldn't reach it. They definitely did fire off 10 Sucker Punches. Let's see how this one plays out. We fire off the first Aura Wheel, forcing the Protect Shield. This time we're actually baiting, thinking we're going to get Powder Snow farm down before 3 Aura Wheels are reached. We're able to force the Protect Shield. Morpeko then banks the Psychic Fangs. We pivot out into Bellossom, fire off the Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is resisted, but that looks like Psychic Fangs range to me. As long as we don't get one turn bring in, which we don't, it's going to be Morpeko emerging victorious. Very, very nicely done. GG's. Heading into the next battle. Lantern. Mr. Opponent, this is not 2023. What is Lantern doing on my screen? In Season 22, the opponent save switch into Clodsire, which is somewhat of a problem for us. What's also a problem is the Sludge Bomb variant, which would hit Bellossom's Grass typing for super effective damage. Looks like Place Your Wagers, happy to stay in. Drapion and Morpeko can also deal with that Lantern. We just need to kind of remove this annoying Clodsire from the field of play. We shield up the next Sludge Bomb. Place Your Wagers going to farm up to the double Leaf Blade. How's the opponent play this? They're probably just going to take their 2-to-no shield advantage. The opponent does exactly that. Send out Jump Bluff. We see the pivot into Drapion. Drapion looks to fire off the Crunch, and the opponent make the Crunch catch back onto Lantern. Lantern is bulky, but it's so slow to charge moves nowadays. It now takes 7 sparks to that surf, so Place Your Wagers fires off 7 Poison Stings and the Crunch. Lantern made a very brief appearance in 2025. And the opponent put all the hopes and dreams on a 2-shielded Jump Bluff. Jump Bluff fires off the Acrobatics, cleanly picking up the 1-shot. We send out Morpeko. Morpeko farms the Aura Wheel, baits with the Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs forces that first Protect Shield. Even with that bait, I think we're still in such a tough spot. The opponent fire off the Acrobatics, doing almost all our HP. We bank the Psychic Fangs. The opponent throw the Aerial Ace on Jump Bluff. It looks like we rage quit the recording. Heading into the next battle. Bellossom into Malamar. As someone who loves Bellossom, let me tell you, Dazzling Gleam cleanly picks up that 1-hit KO. Bellossom going to shield up the incoming foul play. Place Your Wagers actually going to go for the Leaf Blade bait. Hoping to force the protection with that fear of the Gleam. Leaf Blade does exactly that this time. We're able to outpace to the Gleam. Does the opponent respect the damage? Did I not tell you it picks up the 1-shot? Get that Malamar off my screen, and out comes Clodsire. Bellossom still not done. Gonna fire off the Leaf Blade. Doing some decent chip damage, and if the opponent look for that full Poison Sting farm down, they'll get hit with another Leaf Blade in the face. The opponent opts to dump energy, Sludge Bomb picks up the knockout, and now they're chipped. I think double Aqua Tail should be enough to get the job done. That can't be an Earthquake, right? I do shoutcast in 2 times speed, and I wasn't exactly counting, but it just felt a bit quick. I'm unsure if the opponent had the energy for the Earthquake. I'm going to say yes, as Place Your Wagers, a very talented battler, and I imagine if the opponent didn't farm to it, we wouldn't respect it. The opponent opts to shield the low health Clodsire, looks to move Drapion from the field of play, and it's all going to be down to Morpeko to clean up Earthquake, picks up the knockout, Morpeko hits the field of play. Please tell me this isn't another Earthquake, but even a Sludge Bomb will do a lot. The opponent set off with a Sludge Bomb, Morpeko looking to maximise his energy, going to fire off the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel is resistive, all removing them from the field of play. What is that third? Can Morpeko pick up yet another one shot? Unfortunately, Cradily is a bit too thick. Aura Wheel will do a lot, but unfortunately won't be a one-hit KO. Cradily is going to outpace by a single turn, reaching the winning charge move, and unfortunately we're going to take a heartbreaking defeat. But GG's to that opponent. Heading into the next battle, we've got someone out here flexing on us. With a shiny Galarian Moltres, we see the save switch into Drapion, baiting out Marowak. Oh boy, this is beautiful. We're going to be able to Bullet Seed farm this down eventually, and potentially Dazzling Gleam that Moltres to the face. The opponent looking for that full Mud Slap farm down, and that is going to cost them a Protect Shield. Really not a huge fan of this play pattern from the opponent. Perhaps they don't know about that Dazzling Gleam coverage on Blossom, but I've got a sneaky feeling if they don't know, they're soon about to find out. The opponent going to fire off the Bone Club. Bone Club, very survivable, back out. Comes Moltres. Do they know? Dazzling Gleam! Oh, boo. Forces the final Protect Shield. Not that's a bad thing, as Morpeko now has a 2-0 shield advantage. Place Your Wagers, happy to give up the first Protect Shield, blocking up the incoming Ancient Power. We see the perfect over farm. Place Your Wagers, firing off Aura Wheel on the charge attack priority. Down goes Moltres. No trainer. Say it ain't so. Out comes Corsola. Corsola might think it's thick. Morpeko. No, that is a clean one shot. Holy cow. Have you ever seen Corsola straight in and straight out? Well, if you haven't, there it was. Morpeko once again going to sweep the back line. Holy. If I had more TMs, I think I'd try this team myself. My Morpeko currently has Seed Bomb and Outrage, which probably isn't the moveset you're looking for. In the next battle, we see a dreadful lead. We're going to save switch into Drapion, baiting out Gastrodon. Perfect for us. Of course, Morpeko gets deleted by this thing. We're even able to obtain ourselves a cheeky shield advantage here in the mid-game matchup. Blossom going to come in, absorb all this energy, and get a massive Bullet Seed farm down. With energy, that Toxapex matchup isn't actually too bad. It's going to take like 3 Leaf Blades to pick up the knockout. We're actually going to bank the Leaf Blade. No, double ground. Blossom is going to have to do so much heavy lifting. We fire off the Psychic Fang. Psychic Fang goes unshielded. The opponent going to get a massive Mud Slap farm down. Oh, we even get denied coming in. Place Your Wagers recognises this simply won't be a win, and he's going to concede the match. Heading into the next battle. We see the big fat bunny in the lead, exactly where the team wants to see it. The opponent going to overfarm. We look to fire off 5 Bullet Seeds and the Leaf Blade, which would be good timing. The opponent able to fire off the Fire Punch. I think here I'd actually throw back to back, make the opponent make the first shielding decision of the game. The first one actually forces that Protect Shield. Once again, we commit to good fast move timing. Place Your Wagers, happy to match Protect Shields. Again, we go for 1 Bullet Seed and the next Leaf Blade. Quite surprised to see someone shield Diggersby from almost full health. The opponent actually double shield. Trainer, what the hell is hiding behind this Diggersby? Blossom, able to reach the next Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade gets the opponent into the red, and we send out Drapion. As Diggersby hits like a wet noodle, Drapion can actually tank a super effective Scorching Sands. In the Great League, there's not too many Shadow Pokemon that can tank a super effective charge move. Diggersby, you need to do better. It now becomes apparent why the opponent 2-shielded their Bonnie, as clearly they think grass types are a myth. Morpeko hits the field of play, going to shield up the Ice Beam bait, but no bait will ever save this Azumeril's fate. We're going to overfarm, fire off the Aura Wheel. From this range, Aura Wheel will be removing Azumeril from the field of play. Is Morpeko going to pull off one more sweep? Out comes Toxapex. We just need to be mindful of the opponent looking to make a catch. The first Aura Wheel does massive damage. We've seen the Poison Jab come through. So this Aura Wheel will be removing them from the field of play. Morpeko just needs to reach a Psychic Fangs before the Fire Punch is reached. Morpeko puts the team on its back for about the 12th time in today's video and sweeps yet another team. GG's and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's shoutcast. Place your wagers. That team looks incredibly fun, and I'll be honest, I don't often copy teams people send me, but this is one that I'm going to look to try out at some point when I'm in a better position with more charged TMs. What a crazy, hard-hitting, super spammy team, right up my alley. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.